your options. Visit foodallergy.org/empower to learn more.
The road to Adelute continues. This time, we sit down with Republican candidates. Vice Speaker Tony Atta and E.J. Calvo. Catch the full conversation that took place on May 5th on the Wave 105's YouTube channel. Stay informed and hear their vision for Guam's future. Wave 105 is a glimpse of Guam radio station.
Welcome back to the show, 5:10 in the afternoon. We are KGUM, FM Wave 105, Dedido, Guam. This is the BrightSide right here on Wave 105. And like I said earlier, in studio guest host, sitting in for Mr. Pauly Suba, Mr. Charlie Hermosa.
And buenas, Ryan, and welcome back to the Wave 105, and thank you so much for listening to us. If you're driving home, as always, please ensure that you get to your destination in a safe and timely manner. No need to rush. And one of the things, Ryan, hopefully I'm going to listen into to you guys tomorrow, because I definitely want to see Pauly's take on the conference or the forum that he went to.
Yes. He's right now. I mean, that's basically why you're sitting in. Because,
right.
There is a forum with the RICA group,
Yes.
ours.
Yes.
And all congressional candidates are slated. Actually, they're supposed to be there.
Right.
Whether
right.
they make it or not, I really don't know. But yeah, I mean, it seems like when I spoke to Mr. Bob Celestial, he was like, yeah, they've all been in communications with all of their teams, and they should be there tonight. So this is gonna, and I was talking to Pauly about it, right? Because this is, it's almost it's an isolated issue, and a lot of people have been affected. And this whole radiation fallout, the fight started almost 30 years ago, and it's
right.
And they're still fighting to this day. And so it's very important for them to find out where each of these candidates stand on pushing this issue forward. Currently, Congressman James, he is in, I guess he's doing what he needs to do. However, I think it was also taken off the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was a little bit of a switch.
It was a switch.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So
All right.
because there are also other states that have been fighting for it as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so it was interesting to kind of understand the way that it worked out, because there was a lot of politics behind that.
Oh yeah.
And so it's been interesting to kind of see the process and understanding exactly, what is it going to take for us to be able to finally get that,
and
closed
Charlie,
out.
you know how DC works. You've been there many times, and it's all about relationships, right? And the relationships that you build, and you cannot always be telling the same story every time we send a new representative, or because when you look at past congressional representatives from the first one that we had, which was Antonio B. Wampat. Right after him was General Ben Blas. And then right after General Ben Blas, it was Congressman Underwood, and then Congressman Madeline Berdallo.
Yeah.
And I believe she was the longest. At 16 years, I believe, that she served. And so now the question is, for issues like this with PARS, do we continue on the track, on the direction under the current congressional representative, James Moylan, or do we start anew? And then considering the relationships that you already established, versus if former Senator Mary Torres gets in, she will probably have to start from scratch again. Likewise with Alicia Limchiaco, AG Limchiaco. So, I mean, I just don't know. I mean, this is...
I mean, to a certain extent, because, a lot of it, whether the incumbent or, Congresswoman Madeline, all that work is still there. I mean, it's in the archives.
Yeah.
Everything has seen exactly how things work.
Thankfully, because of Bob Celestial, he's done all the heavy lifting. All the research within the last 30 years.
Absolutely. So I think that something has to give. I mean, something. I don't know if there's a political position or political ploy that we can do to, that the, Congressman Moylan can do and say, okay, enough's enough. You got to include Guam. And so they tried, and I think they followed the process. And I think a little bit at the end, there was a little bit of a switch.
So from what I understand, the Senate passed it.
Correct.
It was the congressional part, which we do have representation on,
Correct.
which in the form of Congressman James Moylan, that it kind of went on the wayside, and we kind of lost it. So now it's like, wait a minute, it doesn't make any sense. We don't have representation in the Senate, but we do have you in the House, but the change happened in the House as opposed to on the Senate. So, I mean, that's one question I want to pick on the brain.
And Robert, he knows it. I mean, he knows to a T exactly how that whole thing happened. And if you talk to him, I mean, he's got the information. He's like I said, he's got all the archives. He's done. I mean, he's been at this.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, we're going to get to a point where we're finally going to close a chapter on this. But
yes.
Guam, I'm glad that we haven't taken the position of just kind of letting back and it is what it is mentality. We're keep beating on beating
in
on
this
that
day
rock.
and age, we cannot be that complacent.
I think no, especially which when we look at which battles that we want to really take on, this is definitely one that we need to take on.
That's worth
it's
worth
definitely
the
worth
time and effort.
Absolutely.
I mean, 30 years.
And you've seen other states close their chapters on that, and I think that it's time for Guam to do as well. So, on the congressional side, that's a big topic of discussion as well.
Yeah, and then there's also another forum with the gubernatorial candidates. With I want to say I'm not too sure which the Filipino community
Correct.
in general,
Correct.
not because there's different organizations. So I can't
It's
keep
like
up
the
with
Lions,
it.
you have a lot of
I think
clubs,
there's like
right?
19 Lion organizations. You just say you're a Lions and roar, right?
Yes, absolutely, and they're all good. They're all good. I think that the one thing that I have asked is, they're all forum, so they're all
play nice.
Play nice. Yes, I wish there was a little bit more action, but I get it.
I was just talking to Pauly about that earlier. I'm like, this is probably one of the most boring gubernatorial elections ever because everybody's playing nice, man. And he did have a point. It was like maybe people are just tired of the
ugliness,
the
politics,
mudslinging and everything. But I'm like, no, if you stick to the policies, man, because you cannot just kumbaya and say everybody say, oh yeah, we're for this and for that. I'm like, no, look, man, all right, we are hitting 2027, and there are a lot of things that we need to catch up on. If we're still thinking about a landfill, or we're still, talking about GMH, and a new hospital, and Pauly said it. He put it in a way. It was like, I hate the terminology "state of the art."
Oh,
because when you want to we're building a state of the art thing. I'm like, no, man. At this point right now, I'll settle for pretty much the level of under state of the art. So at least we can have something. Yeah, so at least we have something good, better than what we currently have right now.
And I think that has been the consensus. I think when we there's a lot of folks that have been coming up to me and asking me my position, and I say, listen, everybody has the opportunity right now to face recognition, name recognition. That's all good and well. But I think that we still have time for those who are undecided to really look at everybody's platform and really ensure that exactly what they stand for. And I think that's very telling. So, the folks that have asked me, as far as, what I thought and what are your predictions as far as how this is going to turn out, a lot of it has to do with the movement of the actionable items, right? The tangible things that we've seen happen. And to your point, there's some folks that are saying, listen, GMH is GMH, but hey, thank you for, water blasting it, painting it, you're making it the exterior, you're painting but one of the things that we were saying, we were like, at least something was getting done. Maybe we want it more to be done interior-wise.
I would love to go into a nice landscape hospital, knowing that it's outside looks great,
Yeah.
But inside is all crappy and everything and all. Yeah,
And so those are the little things, right? I mean, so do we
praise
want,
it?
Do we want?
And it wasn't even. I mean, that was all volunteer stuff.
But do we want?
know?
Do we want a state of the art facility? Absolutely. But at the point that we're at, I think that we've gotten a little bit.
I'll settle for normal right now. Don't give me anything, state of the art.
Absolutely. I think that we've unfortunately just kind of let it run down. And we can talk about several things in regards to that. But again, going back to what's really important right now is the fact that everybody still has the opportunity to read up on everybody's platform and ensure that they make a very strong, conscious decision this Saturday. August 1st is very important. We want to make sure that everybody comes out on August 1st and casts their vote. Every single vote counts.
I was talking to Pauly, and I was trying. It just keeps slipping my mind. I keep forgetting to call Miss Maria Pangilinan to see what is the actual count.
Oh, for the early voters.
For the early voters. I mean, I'm hearing it was like 5,000.
Yeah, I would say it's in that number. I was hearing that it was trending above 4,000, above expectations, is what I was hearing, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's a clear reflection on the fact that we do have a gubernatorial election going on, and so but. If there's a percentage, I believe, that they were looking at. If they hit a certain percentage, they were okay. They were good. They did well. The money well spent.
It's almost a snapshot of the actual percentage that will come out on the onto the general. So there are, what is the voter turnout?
But I would say I would probably say with the couple of days from where I initially heard that we were in the 4,000 range, I would probably say that we're probably in between the 5,000 and 6,000 range, which is a good number.
Yeah, no, really,
which is definitely a good number.
Yeah,
and I think that I initially thought that we weren't going to get good numbers for the early vote.
Yeah,
but so I'm glad to see, that there's actually even just a youth movement going on as well.
Yeah,
there's a big one. I mean, the level of participation, maybe because of social media, we're seeing a little bit more from the youth. But at least we're seeing it. At least we're seeing a youth movement. And there's actually going to be a youth forum happening on Thursday.
I believe, with
UOG.
Genesis Babalta. Yeah, he's putting it all together with his people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to be taken very seriously.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, I've also seen great discussions happening at the Micronesian Mall when everybody had the opportunity to meet with the senators.
Yeah.
And
I was there.
Oh, were you there?
There was, a lot of interaction. I think generally, everybody did good, everybody that turned out. And people actually went there to actually meet the candidates, find out what they're all about, where do they stand on certain issues, and what do they bring to the table should they get in.
And part of it, I mean, it also talking, exactly what you said, it's relationship, not, even on the, when you're talking about congressional relationships that we have in D.C., but, even with the discussion we just had with Senator Calvo, Senator Borja, and candidate Kin, is the fact that, we can all get along. Yeah. Right? We can all agree to this. I mean, we don't even within our own parties, we don't always agree, right? But some of that has to be put on the side, because you need to ensure that you put the hat on, not just about yourself, but it's really the people.
Yeah, and right? I'm glad that Senator Shelley and also Senator Vince highlighted the fact that, because they're always even Senator Vince has said, they've been accused of just pulling the party line, towing the line. But there are a lot, and they both said it. There are a lot of legislation that came out that, even though I didn't agree with it, I knew I had to compromise. And that is how things work in the legislature. If you can't compromise and it's always going to be my way or the highway, you're never going to get things done.
Right.
All of us, Ken and I, we used to work together in the legislature. We see how this thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
that's
whoa,
right.
okay.
That's right, Ryan. You were in the midst. You know how that whole thing works.
I was in the mix and everything, and it gets frustrating because all it takes is for there's 14 people, and if Charlie and Ryan St. Nicholas were in the legislature as senators, I'm going to like, Charlie, I don't agree with your bill, but I need help on mine. Right. If I throw you my support, you need to throw me yours. And there's two things in the legislature that is currency. One thing, your word.
Right.
You lose that, you lose all
Right.
credibility.
No. And it was pretty interesting. I was listening to your show the other day, and it was interesting to actually hear that Senator Tello had actually, she was on the top as far as getting bills passed, which was really interesting. Understanding that Senator Tello was in the top of the list on pushing the bills forward.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of dynamics there, understanding how she made that happen, and understanding that sometimes she may have to make the tough decisions on certain bills.
I'm glad that they pointed it out, because that tells me both of them, and including Ken, because Ken, actually I call him Ken.
Yeah, I call him Ken too. Yeah.
But they all know how it works, and a lot of people, you sold us out, and da 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 da, and that's not what you promised and everything. And it's like, look, I know what I promised you, all right, and in order for me to fulfill that promise, I need to convince X amount of senators, and the only way I know I can do that is to get their support. So I throw my support to whatever it is. The compromise is sometimes really hard, and you'll get ridiculed, you'll get hit big time, but that is the way. Everybody has great ideas.
Oh yeah.
But you're going to have to convince 14 other people that that is good.
And I don't think, and I don't know. Again, this is just my perspective as to would we ever look at an overlap, legislature, like where we have 15, but 7 will overlap with 8.
Yeah.
Because we could potentially have a brand new 15 cent. Completely
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
But there has to be a level of continuity as well.
Yes,
and that's the part that,
and that's the thing too as well. Is like everybody's talking about new faces and we need new, and I'm like, wait, hold on for a second.
Right.
Okay, because I'm not too familiar with the new, and it could be the worst thing. New is not always good. You need continuity. You need seniority, and you need to look at the people that have been there more than 2 terms. And because because look who's leaving. Okay, you have Speaker Frank, Vice Speaker Tony, Senator Therese, Senator Sabina, Senator Joe, and Senator Tina. That is institutional knowledge walking out the door at one time. And so I bring a fresh perspective. I'm a new face, and new ideas, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sister.
Have we had that number percentage-wise? That's the
never. Not to my. I've never seen that
leaving.
exodus. Yeah. No. That type. The number of brain drained, if you want to call it, leaving the legislature.
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
If it's good or not, I don't know. But I would always give new faces and new ideas a chance. But at the same time, we still have to have some sort of continuity, because if one thing, we change everybody, and then everybody's like, okay, what do we do now?
Right. And I, there was one question I did want to ask them, but I think it would have been, taking a little bit longer time, and it has to do with the budget, because 1.4 billion is a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
And I think that even just to getting it to the point where you're getting it to a balanced approach, but when you start peeling back the budget and you kind of understand exactly. We do have a caller.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we have Mr. Attorney Pete.
Half a day, Charlie and Ryan.
Half a day, senor. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well. I want to say I appreciate all of the discussion. The Wave is doing a great service to the people of Guam by bringing on the candidates and hearing them, because they're really doing a job interview,
Yes.
And elections have consequences. I've been saying that. Elections have consequences. Yes, we want everyone to get out there and vote, but I think maybe even more important than that is we want people to study the candidates, study their positions,
the platforms,
not just personality politics, but who actually has the resume and the track record, right? Not only just buzzwords or jingles or
the big billboards with the smiley faces. That's all noise,
right,
man. That is
right.
all noise. Yeah.
There are some catchy things that catchy slogans. But at the end of the day, slogans don't get the job done.
And it definitely
right?
doesn't pay my bills.
Right. There's empty slogans. There's empty promises. There's unfulfilled campaign promises, and we need to make sure we hold people accountable. This is our one chance to do that. Our one chance to make sure that the person that we're hiring for that job is not just bola-bolaing us. It's not just, like the old folks say, fabulas de chispas, which is the old way of saying, campaign rhetoric and propaganda.
That or Fassi Rex.
And Pete, so you have officially filed, correct?
I have.
And so how is the campaigning going?
It's going great. I was at a funeral today, and I don't go to funerals for political reasons. I go to funerals if there is an actual relationship. It surprised me. This was my godbrother, and la-di-da-di, everybody was there. The governor, all the different camps were there. A lot of senatorial candidates were there. But what you asked me, how's the campaign going? A ton of people that I've never met before had come up to me and said, "Hey, man, we like you. We like your style. We're going to support you. We're going to vote for you." And that's all I ask, is that people study the candidates. I don't ask. I haven't had a fundraiser. I haven't taken any donations. I'm not asking for people's money. I'm asking for them to study the candidates and vote for someone who has the bona fides.
Now, is there anything lined up after the primaries for an AG forum type, or?
Do you know if they're doing any forums for AG?
I'm sure there are. I know the Bar Association is going to have one.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's
UOG
right.
maybe might have one. I would love for the Chamorro Language Commission to have one because they normally have a Chamorro language debate, right?
Well,
so you want a debate?
I know the Chamber of Commerce will have one.
Pete, you want a debate, not a forum. You want a debate.
Right.
But imagine a bunch of lawyers debating.
Oh, gosh. A mock trial?
Yeah, it is. It's going to be like a mock trial, But,
yeah, and it's kind of sad, Charlie and Ryan, that they took the AG race out of the primary because that really would have been able to for us to narrow it down. We have a very short memory here on Guam.
What was the reasoning?
It used to be the way it is now, where all candidates went on to the general, and then the people of Guam were like, "Well, we really want to pare it down. We really want to get the top two candidates to go on to the general." So they changed the law.
No, I get it.
The AG race in the in the primary, and then just recently in 2024, they took it out. And I have a suspicion that
could it be because
that was a political move.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, but could it be that because the AG has no political affiliation? No party.
That was the what do you call it? The justification. It was to save $30,000 because they would have had to print an extra ballot.
Oh man,
so it was to save $30,000. But what's more important? $30,000 is not really a lot of money when it comes to a decision that's as important as who's going to be our attorney general.
I tend to disagree with you because really I would love to do away with the primary.
Oh yes,
I mean everybody
as a whole.
As a whole, I mean, you want to talk about saving money? What is the actual cost for a primary, which would but about $250,000, I think.
Oh, I think it's a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
I guess we see it differently, and we can agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody. It's all for one for all, and boom, right there, everybody goes to the general, and let the chips fall where they may.
Right.
But it gives a lot of people.
Well, that's the way CNMI does it, and they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then the other part about the the primary versus the general, right? I mean, it's crossing the when we're talking about
the
running,
spoiled ballots.
Yeah, like crossing over, right? I mean, there's a lot of spoiled ballots that happen in the primary, and so it's a give and take. But yeah, I'm in the position as well. I mean, I've thought about it. I said, I think the primary serves as a good sort of way to be able to kind of narrow down the candidates.
Well, the benefit for me as a candidate is not being in the primary. That means I only have one race to run. I don't have two races to run.
Well,
But
I think,
the other thing is, though, it gives whoever the incumbent is
more
a huge
yeah,
advantage.
a major advantage, and that, and that's why. And then when you think about the cost, right? As a taxpayer, if I don't subscribe to the Democrats or the Republicans, I'm still paying for the election.
One
Right.
way, in one way or another. Yeah, absolutely.
Aside from, they get the federal funds from all that and do that, but I'm still paying for the election. And I'm like, look, and they're not, and since I'm paying for it, they're saying, oh no, you can only eat at this table or that table. I'm like, no. If this party is on me, I want to go wherever I need to go. And that's the problem I have with the primaries. It's like
there are some candidates that I really wanted to support and give my vote on that I wasn't able to because I had to choose one side.
Right.
Yeah.
And the primary, and it's pretty telling about that. But also, what's new around the AG world? What's going on? Anything that
Well, we have 5 divisions that are at the Attorney General's office, and none of them work right now. That's what's going on.
Wait, I got to be fair, huh?
In court today, the judges are doing the prosecutors' jobs and negotiating plea agreements, and because the judges are frustrated.
Okay,
I urge the public to go out and talk to law enforcement, court employees, lawyers, judges, if they know them. And get a real sense of what's going on. The huge bottleneck and broken part in the system is the AG's office.
Okay.
And it's not just one division; it's all 5 divisions.
Attorney Pete, I gotta be very because we're walking a fine line of campaigning.
I get it. But
So,
I was
let's
just responding to the question: what's new in the AG world?
Okay.
Same day or different day,
just
same
as long
broken
as you don't say I'm Pete Santos and I'm running for AG or anything like that. Vote for me and all that. I'm cool. You can talk about all the problems.
No, I get it. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
Study the candidates. If you like, vote for who you think you like. I'm not gonna ask for people's votes on this forum right now. I'm just saying, elections have consequences, and take a real good look at what's going on, because there, even the current AG is asking for re-election. Well, make sure he earns your vote. Don't just vote for it because he has a great slogan, toughest AG on crime, which turns out to be completely false. But, don't vote on slogans, vote on records, vote on accomplishments, vote on experience, relevant experience.
Man, I got to go into the business of coming up with fancy slogans and everything. I hear they make a lot of good money.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Right, but why hire anyone? Because you can just AI it nowadays.
I mean, I like for our good friend Jerry Yingling. Man, I can already see a spot, right? Okay, we all know Jerry Springer, right? And we all know the chant, right? And it's just going to be Jerry for 30 seconds. And then he comes in and says, I'm Jerry Yingling, and I approve this message. And it was like, Jerry.
Or
Jerry.
Remember that old song? It sounds like Yingling, right? But you can just riff off of that. Says, Jerry Yingling, I want you to vote for Jerry Yingling.
No, very. You know what? And those sound bites.
Yeah. Get
stuck in your head.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, I'm like,
but
just a Jerry
But
chant.
you guys know
already?
what song I'm talking about, right?
Yes, we do.
But before we because we're gonna have to take a quick break. But one of the things that I have heard also in having discussion with folks is and and that's the beauty of owning a bar restaurant, right? Have the interaction with the folks,
The
and
cooler
it's just,
talk.
Absolutely, having a cup of coffee or beer is just great talk. But one of the things that has been on the younger side is that a lot of people are making their own decision on who they're going to vote. It's not necessarily the family says that I need to vote for this candidate. I'm hearing a little bit of that, which
That's good.
Yeah, which is
Yeah, it's
really
really
good.
good.
That's good. My wife and I voted for different things, and that's fine. I am old enough to remember getting the notebook paper from the elders that tells us
Make a
which
list.
candidates to vote for.
Make a list and check it
Right.
twice.
Yeah, it was a list. It was on notebook paper. They went and Xeroxed it, and then they handed it out to all the family members. This is who you vote for.
You just reference, going into a funeral today, right, for your godbrother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember working, at the legislature, and before I started working at the legislature, and I met a bunch of senators out on lunch and everything, and they compared their Matai lists. Believe it or not, did you go to a so-and-so? No. Okay, I'm going to go there now, and if you want to follow me.
Oh, wow.
Well, they had staffers, right, that just scoured the obituary.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I thought it was kind of cool, but then now really with everything you said, I mean, I started turning that way. Like, at least know somebody there, right?
and I think a lot also with the typhoons, knock on wood. I mean that deterred a lot of the boards going up. I think there should have been a lot more, but I think unfortunately some of the candidates had to put it up, put it down. I think it was like 5 cycles. Putting it up, putting it down, putting it up, putting it down, and then putting it back up.
Yeah.
And so
I would hate to be the volunteer for that campaign.
And so. A lot of things play into this, a lot of the way things have been done in the past. And, we've also spoken to a lot of the candidates who have been using social media in the most positive way and really pumping it out. We also see a lot of, social media ads that are, you can, truly see they're AI generated and, it's good on them as well. But hopefully there's a mix on that as well. So, with that, we're going to take a quick break.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Always a pleasure, you
absolutely.
guys.
Thank you so much
sir.
for calling in. And with that, and thank you for calling back. And with that, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on the Wave 105.
Hafaday, it's Amanda Shelton. I'm ready to serve you again in the legislature. On August 1st, choose proven leadership so we can continue to build a stronger Guam together. I humbly ask for your vote. Amanda Shelton, number 6 Democrat.
Johnny Cool Taurus, Treasurer.
Looking for a school that brings out the absolute best in your child? Welcome to Mount Carmel Academy Charter School, where our students are winning big across the island. We're celebrating our island-wide science fair winners, our Chamorro language competition champions, and the incredible rhythm of our Mount Carmel Phoenix stage band. Plus, we are competing on the mats with our spectacular gold medal-winning martial arts performances. Combined with our championship boys and girls sports programs, we teach discipline, teamwork, and leadership every single day. From academics and culture to music and athletics, we celebrate 69 years of educating the complete child. Enrollment is completely tuition-free. Call Mount Carmel today at 565-5128.
.42 in the afternoon, and right about now, it's going to be our last look at traffic. We're going to help move you forward. Let you know where to go and where not to go. And let me see, I'm breaking out the handy-dandy traffic app. All right, let me see here. If you are currently at the intersection of JFK, headed up northbound on Route 1, you're going to feel some slow-going traffic there. Likewise, coming down southbound. And if you are currently on Route 14, making your way up to that same intersection, trying to get onto Route 1, you're going to feel some slow-going traffic there. And then if you move along further up on Marine Drive, where Public Works is at, that intersection, you're going to feel some back-to-back traffic north and southbound. Just be patient. Give that braking distance between you and the car in front of you, and you'll be good. All right, moving right along to Route 10A, and that is the airport road. If you're going into the airport, you're going to feel some slow-going traffic. If you're coming out from Route 10A, slow-going traffic on both lanes trying to get onto Route 1. On that same intersection, Route 1 is moving pretty slow. Nothing but red lines there. Of course, that was your look at traffic, moving you forward along with Guam Auto Spot. Check out their website, guamautospot.com. Check out their inventory, set up a test drive, give them a call, 478-AUTO. All right, We're going to be back at 5:44 in the afternoon. Take a short little break, and we'll be back to finish off the bright side right here on Wave 105 with our in-studio guest host, Mr. Charlie Hermosa.
Rise and shine with Roots Breakfast Buffet. Served daily from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. at Guam Plaza Resort. Seniors enjoy 15% off for a limited time. Save your spot now. Call 671-649-7760 to reserve.
Our critically injured veterans and first responders are left behind every day because of inadequate wheelchairs. That's why Wheelchairs for Warriors is on a mission to serve America's heroes across the nation and provide them with custom-fit wheelchairs tailored to fit their needs to ensure they're rejoining their lives at the highest level of independent mobility and function possible. From lightweight daily use chairs or adaptive sports chairs to all-terrain wheelchairs to get these warriors outdoors. Wheelchairs for Warriors serves those who've served us. To join their mission, visit their website at wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Looking for a school that brings out the absolute best in your child? Welcome to Mount Carmel Academy Charter School, where our students are winning big across the island. We're celebrating our island-wide science fair winners, our Chamorro language competition champions, and the incredible rhythm of our Mount Carmel Phoenix stage band. Plus, we are competing on the mats with our spectacular gold medal-winning martial arts performances. Combined with our championship boys and girls sports programs, we teach discipline, teamwork, and leadership every single day. From academics and culture to music and athletics, we celebrate 69 years of educating the complete child. Enrollment is completely tuition-free. Call Mount Carmel today at 565-5128. Military officer, law enforcer, policymaker. Service has been the cornerstone of Congressman James Moylan's life. James Moylan swore to protect America as an officer in the United States Army. As a parole officer, James worked with families affected by substance abuse and domestic violence. He was elected to the 35th and 36th Guam legislatures, and now James Moylan represents Guam's needs in our nation's capital as a member of the United States Congress. Congressman Moylan has fought for more than $3 billion for Guam, including almost $1 billion in military construction and roads, and law enforcement and first responder vehicles and equipment. Moylan is also working vigorously on standing up a regional office right here on Guam, a game changer for our 25,000 plus veterans, 40 years and 4 oaths. Dedicated, resilient, trustworthy, and proven. That's James Moylan. Re-elect James Moylan for Congress. Moylan works.
I'm James Moylan, a candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by James. We are all for first-time guests and long-time friends. All for First Light and Starlight. For road trips and trail runs, all for mountaintops and monuments, river bends and battlefields. We're all for showing up and giving back. To protect, to preserve, to pass it on. All parks depend on us, and we're all for parks. Join us at nationalparks.org/allforparks.
When Guam is not heard in Washington, our families pay the price. We pay it in higher costs, in housing that feels out of reach, in food assistance put at risk, and our Manamco and neighbors with disabilities still waiting for benefits they've earned. Mary Camacho Torres is running to change that. She'll fight to lower costs, deliver fairness for our veterans and downwind communities, and make sure Guam finally has a voice that's heard. This election, vote Mary Camacho Torres for Congress, #1 on the ballot.
I'm Mary Camacho Torres, and I approve this message.
Paid for by the Torres.
The road to Adelup is here, and this time we spoke with Democrat candidates, Senator Torius Terlahi and Senator Sabina Perez. Here is your opportunity to hear how they plan to govern Guam. Watch the conversation on Wave 105's YouTube channel, dated May 28th. This is a glimpse of Guam radio station.
We're just about 12 minutes away before we hit the 6 o'clock hour. Once again, this is the Bright Side. Sitting in for Mr. Pauly Suba, Charlie Hermosa. Buenas.
Buenas, and welcome back to the Wave. We only have almost close to 11 minutes there, Ryan. So
okay,
time flies.
Yeah.
And talking about time flying by, I can't believe it's August 1st. We've been talking about that. We've been talking about this date. How many? Maybe a year and a half ago, and now it's here. There's other important things that have happened in August as well. We're getting close to the start of the football season, and I know that's in a lot of folks that's what they have in their mind. The football season starting up in August as well, so that's always an exciting time for me every year, and I can't wait for the preseason to go ahead and start. But first we have to go out and vote.
Yeah.
August 1st, Saturday, we have to go out and vote, ensure that you cast your vote. And what Pete is correct. Pete said it was correct. I mean, we have to go out there and ensure that we read up and do our homework when it comes to understanding what the platforms of all the candidates, and ensure that we make a good, smart decision. Don't peek the other hood. Don't be peeking at what your family members are what they're marking down. But you have a place in this, and if you're old enough to vote, it's a very powerful thing that you have. The ability to vote is very very important. So please come out August 1st and ensure that you cast your vote.
What are your plans? I mean, aside from voting, what are your plans after that? I mean, just relax and wait for the numbers to come in?
Well, I think that's a really good question because I think that
are you guys doing anything at
we
Beans
are,
or Barrels?
Yeah, we are. We are, and
Okay.
I was just thinking about that today because I can't believe it creeped up so fast. It's August 1st, and so it looks like we will do a watch party.
Yeah,
We should. It's very important, and I think that on the legislature side or on the folks that are running for senator, I think we have 18 candidates on the Democrat side, and we
all
have
need both sides,
and we have
just need to knock out 3.
Yeah, and 18 candidates on the Republican side. It's going to be interesting, and then obviously we also. The big one on the Republican side, on the congressional side, right? I mean, well, there's 2. Well, I mean, we're not even going to talk about the gubernatorial because that's, we have 2 on the Republican side, and we have 3 on the Democrat side. So, all very important. So, it's going to be interesting because I've had the opportunity to discuss with a lot of them, in different functions, different fundraisers, and. Kind of understanding where they're coming from. Right?
What actually I'm watching out for on the Republican side, okay, because if you look at past election cycles, and I spoke about this, earlier last week, and even I think it was yesterday. Every cycle, election cycle, on the primary, the voter turnout for the Republican Party, it's like.
In the
7,
primaries.
in the primaries,
7,000,
6,000,
very low,
very low. And
Mm-hmm.
so this is where I would see the machinery of both camps.
Right.
Did they increase their voting populace by registering people to vote? And so if that number 6,000, 7,000 climbed maybe even to 9,000, then I'm like, okay, this is going to be an interesting race, because I mean, let's say we just stick with the old numbers from last election, last primary, at 7,000, right? It's going to be a very interesting election. Let's say out of the 7,000, you split that between 3,500 between both teams. Now the new votes come in, right?
Right.
And it's safe to say that both Speaker Frank and Tony would garner that much. But now here comes the new votes, the new people that they actually registered and all. And then you got to look at the disenfranchised Democrats currently that don't subscribe to the 3 teams that are on the Democrat side. And then not to mention the independents.
And
too, as
right
well.
on the other side, right? The folks that vote, just for who they think is going to be the
so
the best candidate.
those are things that I'm looking out for, right? So disenfranchised Democrats and the number of people that register to vote in the primary on the Republican Party. That's going to be an interesting watch. And then on top of that, another thing to watch out for is the voters that would have voted for you and Jeff. Had you guys, and we know that there are a lot. I mean, a lot of people that don't subscribe to Republicans or Democrats, and that was pretty much your voter base right there. So where are those guys going to go?
Right. No, absolutely. And that's what, we've been, we've been having great discussions with them because, obviously they've been asked, for where our take, who we're voting for. And,
so you guys are the kingmakers?
Well, no, but it goes back to, the way the ballots are set up, right? Because, I think that we need to have a good and balanced 39th.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, from a Republican perspective, the majority would be great. Mm-hmm. But you also need some good Democrats there with some good balanced ideas. Mm-hmm. But you can't do that. That just doesn't work on the primary side.
Yes, realistically,
right?
You can't.
And then, obviously, when you look at the congressional race, and then obviously on the gubernatorial side, those are very critical points because, I think that we have a lot of great, strong candidates.
I think all of them are good. It's just right now within the next 3 days is who carries their message well.
Right.
And whoever hits that.
And who fumbles.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate. I mean, we have an incident that happened this weekend, and we can, and that's another one. I mean, I wish we had another hour to talk about that. Yeah. But I think it's at the end of the day, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Right now you have 4 days, maybe 3.5 days to really get that message out.
Yeah.
To ensure that everybody, all the voters, understand what the platform that you're running on, and I think that. The Wave has done an excellent job. I think bringing this road to Adelup and the road
Beyond
to
the
30
box,
it has been really
ballad.
It's been very strong, and I'm I want to thank you for you guys doing it because, I mean, I think it was a great opportunity, and again, just having them, the two senators today and Kin, it was just a good opportunity to have an open dialogue, open discussions, kind of, hear a little bit of the back, the back room decision making that goes on. So, when people do ask, because I've been very critical, and I am very critical about folks that have run in specific platforms that have done nothing, and I'm very critical and say, okay, what happened? Like what you ran on this, and you didn't even touch it, and if they're open and transparent about what happens behind the curtain,
and I think we got a little snippet
of that, right? And I think people need to understand that because unless you're there in their shoes, you kind of may not understand exactly how these deals work, and it's really unfortunately that it has to be like that, but. I think that we all learned I learned the hard way, and it was a good welcoming to politics.
Oh,
because it doesn't. There's no black and white, right? There's no. It's really unfortunately that, but understanding exactly how the process works is really good for the for the listening audience to kind of understand, and very candid discussions. Yeah. I'm a big proponent of folks coming out and have a cup of coffee and just sit down and just be able to talk to all the candidates is very, very important. So,
Charlie, we got somebody on line 2. I think it's Kaduku. We have like exactly 3 minutes. So
3
Kaduku,
minutes, all right.
Go ahead,
Kaduku.
sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Kaduku.
Oh.
Give us a call back. Try to get it in. Yeah. We'll just wait for his call.
Okay.
But, yeah, no.
And you know what? With the other part is also the village orgs that will be putting all the canopies.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a quasi fun time, right?
Because a lot of people are like, so where are you going to be at? Oh, man, I'm probably going to be home.
I know.
Or I'm actually going to go I'm going to go and call the Guam Election Commission and say, hey, I'm in the media. I need my media pass. And I'm just going to stay up there because, man, that elections, there's always going to be that winner and there's always going to be that loser. And I love everybody. And
right.
I hate to see it.
Right. No, absolutely.
My heart has been broken so many times.
Until 8 p.m. is just a good outing with everybody.
Yeah.
On both sides, right?
Yeah.
And the last 2 years ago, we set up camp on the opposite side, and so like the Democrats were on the right and we were on the left of the street, and we were giving each other food, and they were doing a great barbecue, and we had and so all that really comes down, and it's really and I think I get it to a point where there was no there were forums, right? There were no opportunities for everybody to kind of beat themselves down, and I think it's really unfortunate that politics can really get ugly. So it's really, really unfortunate that it gets that way. But again, I think we're coming up to the top of the hour. I think we have a couple of seconds left here. But Ryan, I just want to say thank you as always for allowing me to come in here and thank Pauly. He is at a great form right now. I think that's going to be great. I would love to see what happens.
It's on my route going home, so I probably might just stop by and see how everything is, and take some pictures and go from there. But Yeah, no, thank you for coming in. I know it was kind of like overwhelming. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, you have senator candidates and you're going to interview.
No, this is great. No, this is phenomenal. This is great. I love it. It was, what I love is the candid discussion. That's what it has. Don't give me the political spiel. Tell me how it is. Give it straight talk.
And that's basically what Pauly and I had discussed, because initially when I first started, which was in January, I'm like, look, it's election year, man. We got to do this.
Yes.
And Pauly was just gracious and like, hey, you plan it out and everything. So from the gubernatorial segments to the senatorial segments, I'm the one like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'm writing all the email, the invites, making sure that everything's all legally.
The jargon. Any lines, you're not going to be shut down.
Yeah, but we wanted to make them feel comfortable coming in.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to be one of those gotcha moments, and it wasn't going to be timed in terms of you got 1 minute to answer. I mean, come on, this is a talk show. That's what we do. And so we make them feel comfortable because we can get more of the answers that we want.
Yeah.
And in terms of once you feel comfortable and like the host is not attacking you,
there's a value there. Definitely.
There is some major value there, because now it's like, okay, you know what? We understand it's a high pressure job.
Yeah.
And all eyes are on you. And all ears are on you, but this is your time to actually express yourself in terms of what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and should you get elected, what are your plans?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, I mean, and you fit the bill, bro. I mean, that's why I was like, when Pauly was like, I need you to cover for me, and I'm like, no, I'm getting Charlie.
No, I appreciate it. No, Pauly, if he's listening, please let me know however I can support. But
I had like major anxiety because I've been doing radio for like almost 20-some years, well, about 22 years to be exact, and never have I ever hosted a talk show. I'm like, gosh, am I ready for this?
Absolutely.
And I'm like, no, I'm not, because, once I get into it and and all it takes is that one irritating answer. And then now I'm going to dig, and then that political, tiger's going to come out. I'm like, okay, well, you did this. And then now this is the result. What are you going to do? I mean, but I actually enjoyed it. And you kind of like softened that, that,
the blow a little bit.
Well, not necessarily the blow, but soften the what do you call it? The alternate side of what we do here in radio. I'm always at the board, but being in front, So you kind of softened that for me.
Yeah.
But no. Hey, thank you for
with that. Absolutely. With that, I appreciate everybody for listening in. My name is Charlie Hermoso. Ryan, again, thank you so much for allowing me to be here. This is the Wave 105. Everybody get home safe, and please tune in back tomorrow, and everybody have a great evening.